Good morning, folks. Kevin Welsh with a capitalism moment here this morning. So we got a really fun interview I'm going to do here. So this is Anthony Bruckner. I met Anthony, let's see, how old are you now, Anthony?
24.
You're 24. So let's see, it would have been 7 years ago when you were 17-ish.
Yeah.
And so Anthony runs Anthony's Detail Shop right over here. What's your address, Anthony? Where are you at?
10187 J Street.
So just off 90th and, or not 90th, so 107th and L-ish. So I met Anthony. This is an interesting story. So my goal this morning in doing this interview with Anthony is to just talk about a young man that has started a business on his own. I've watched him grow over the years, and frankly, I'm just really excited. And in today's world, so many people are like, you can't, or it's too hard, or, you know, a lot of times I talk to young people and they're like, how do I get started in business? What does it mean to start a business? Why should I start a business? How do I think about starting a business? Well, I talk to young people about these things, but not very often do I have a live example of someone that's done it and doing it and still working on it. And so we're going to talk to Anthony a little bit today about his history, a little bit about him, and a little bit about the business that he's running now. Maybe some of the things that are hard.
Yeah.
Right? It isn't all a walk down cherry picking lane, that's for sure, right? So when I met Anthony, he was a referral from one of my friends, and truth be told, totally skeptical because he was just 17 years old. But I got to tell you, it was pretty fun. He started out, he came to my house, he showed up in, I think it was a Nissan Sentra.
Yep. 2003.
2003.
Clear coat missing.
Yeah, it was looking a little rough. When he showed up in that car, I was like, wow, I hope mine doesn't look like that when we're done. and so that's the time. I had a Mustang at the time. I backed the car out in the driveway, and then he borrowed some electricity for his battery-powered power washer and my hose and his buckets and his cleaning stuff. And I really was not thinking this was going to go really well, but I was like, yeah, whatever. So he cleaned the car, made it beautiful, and then I'd pull it back in the garage. And so that went on for, I don't know, a year, something like that. I would call, and you'd come to the house and do the car in the driveway. And then he got a bay over in Ralston. And he's like, Kev, you got to come check out the bay, right? And so he sent me the address. I'm driving back and forth, and I can't find it. And so I call him, and then I drive in the back, and it's on a gravel, little bumpy road, which is not ideal for like super fun cars with beautiful paint and whatnot. And I was like, okay. And he's like, don't worry, we'll go slow. We'll get it taken care of. We wipe all the cars down as we leave. So then you worked there.
Yeah.
For how long did you have that bay?
So I had the initial bay. So it was 1,000 square foot bay, and I had half of it for about a year. And then we took over the full bay after that first year for another 2 years. So we were in that facility for about 3 years total is the length of that one.
So Anthony's officially started back in
2017.
2017.
Established, yeah.
And that was just you, single, one-man operation,
Yep.
right?
In high school, filled out the paperwork on LegalZoom.
LegalZoom.
Yeah.
That's funny. So then things progressed because I would drop the car off and he'd run me back home. And now it's been several years, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the business. But now Anthony, I just call him or text him, and he comes and gets my car, cleans the car. The team cleans the car. Him, whoever here at the shop, details, cleans the car, and then drops it back off at my house. And when I get home from work, I pull in the garage, and there's my clean car, and I got to tell you, there's an immense amount of joy. But the other part that brings me joy is that I know that the business that Anthony does is great work, and I'm supporting local business. And local business, I spent some time with private equity in the last couple of weeks just talking about small business, and 70% of GDP are businesses with less than 500 people, right? Everybody talks about the large companies and whatnot, but the small companies are the bread and butter. They're the lifeblood of America. And so, Anthony, you started this business on your own. when you were 17, maybe tell us your story just a little bit. Tell me about what made you want to do it. What made you want to start your own business?
Yeah, so at a very young age, I found out what a dollar bill meant and how to make it and what to do with it and those aspects of life. So I was just very interested in kind of being my own thinker and being able to do those things. So I started pushing lawns at a very young age. I could go to the Scholastic Book Fair and pick out some books when I wanted to, and then kind of after that it stemmed to wanting to go to a Germany trip for school, and saved up a whole bunch of money, worked a whole bunch of jobs, and made it out to there. And then the big pivotal moment was I was in high school, and I already got the business started and qualified for national DECA, and then go out there and get top 20% in the nation of my 5-year growth plan for my company, which at the time it had no clue what to do, what it was going to be about, but it was just really cool that a whole bunch of people thought I was in the top 20% to grow a business. I was like, we're going to take this on full swing and get the ball rolling, and never kind of thought about outside sources at all. Just how can I make this one service as good as possible, and being able to offer something to people instead of needing something from somebody.
Good. That's great. Good story. I like to hear that. So you started one-man show.
Mm-hmm.
Things kind of progressed. You ended up getting an employee. Your first employee would have been at your first bay over in Ralston. Is that right?
Yeah. So that was 2021. We got our first guy. And then 2022, we hired a different guy that's now still with us. He's now our shop manager. So he's been in the business now for 2.5 years now.
Great. What's the hardest thing? When you're thinking about starting a business, what's been your biggest challenge? What's been the hardest thing to overcome?
Yeah, so initially in the first very beginning stages of the business is getting in cash flow, getting in customers, outreaching, getting people to trust you as you do with us now. That's kind of the biggest thing to tackle in the first part of the business. And after that, it's okay, great, I got maybe 40, maybe 60 hours a week of work for just myself, but now I got to do another 5 to 20 hours a week on the business and all the other maintenance part of the company. So then you start really running yourself pretty crazy, doing 80, 100-hour weeks, which is great. You need that. And then from there, it's figuring out the right people to take some of those roles on and diverting the attentions in a manner that works for everybody and pleases the client at the end of the day is what you're after. So
yeah, it's hard because you have to wear a lot of different hats, right? The business owner puts on I have to actually do the work hat.
Yeah.
And then after I have to do the work, then I have to be the boss and hire people hat. And I have human resources. And then, whoops, let me take that back off. Now I'm accounting.
Yeah.
I gotta take that off. Now it's marketing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so marketing, accounting, human resources, all the things. And then not to mention the end product.
Yeah.
Right? Like making the car beautiful and making people feel great about their vehicles and sharing the story of what their vehicle does, whether it's a race car or a show car or a family car or someone that has like lineage or history or legacy with their family.
Yeah.
There you go. What is your favorite part? Like you're like, well, hey, running a business is hard.
Yeah.
Having employees is hard.
Yeah.
You know, doing these things are hard. But what's the best part? What do you love the most?
So I really think it's the people aspect of everything, and it's very, very cool because I'd say about 80% of our customers are all business owners. They're all a part of Omaha, shaping Omaha. We're getting able to see firsthand all of the amazing pieces that make Omaha just so amazing, and meeting people like you and down the line getting people that recommend tens of 20s of their buddies per year because they just love the service so much. They're bought into the vision. They know what we're trying to do, and it's really just the enjoyment of the people.
Nice. And so as you think about your business today, what maybe you don't have to share them all, but because some are personal, but what are some of your goals?
Yeah. So big goals in this building is to get a lot more structure and employment in the building and have it more operate as a business rather than kind of a smaller end business where you can kind of tell there's a few people running it. Things take a little bit longer sometimes, or maybe they don't. But the amount of things to do might not be as there if they don't take as long, you know? So just being able to have a full block all the time with everything going on, that'd be a very superb feeling to have. And then on the second end of the spectrum is to eventually own a building. That's a very big part of what I want to accomplish, is just having a great, massive building with everything you can think about, everything.
At some point in time, you want your own real estate,
yeah,
and grow the business,
mm-hmm.
right? Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that kind of puts a little bit of a bow on it. I don't have a lot more questions. I don't want to bore you folks getting too long-winded, but yet at the same time, I really wanted to share a success story because, once again, I think a lot of times people are worried about starting business. They have challenges to start a business. I mean, I don't think it was easy for you, Anthony. As a matter of fact, I know it wasn't easy. And
mm-hmm.
I know the resources that you had when you started were scratch and dig, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but this is what's possible when hard work meets opportunity. Mm-hmm. And so many times we see the news or we hear about stuff and it's all negative. And so today, this is positive. This is our youth coming to work and embracing capitalism. He's doing it across his card detailing business, which has been amazing for me and the people that I know that come here. But really taking his opportunity and grabbing it by the shoulders and shaking it and running with it. So I'm super proud of him. I've been watching this kid for 7 years now, and it took a little bit of a role in not in growing his business, but just in friendship. We've talked a lot about, hey, here's what I'm doing. What do you think? What do you think about this? And it's been really fun. It's been enjoyable for me and someone to watch grow their business. So there you go. We'll call this a Saturday morning capitalism moment.
Boom.
For you out there in Facebook, and we'll probably put this together, get it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so proud of you, buddy.
Thank you.
Good job. I'm excited for you. I'll
Thank
be
you.
excited to see what happens over the next few years. So with that, over and out.
We are starting.